Welcome to Capture the Reps podcast, the podcast for fitness creatives by fitness creatives. Each episode, we will dive into techniques, strategies, and behind-the-scenes stories to help fast-track your career. Whether you're behind the camera or in front of it, this is the space to grow, create, and connect. Hit it, Sam. Gina, what's up?
Hello.
Thanks for coming in.
Happy to be here.
And you are co-owner of Raise the Bar Rehab.
That is correct.
Operating out of CrossFit Magna, would you say the world-class facility in the western part of the United States?
I don't know why you keep trying to beat around the butt. Like the last podcast, you were like, what is the best in the wet? No, bro, it's the best in the world. CrossFit Magna. End of story.
Okay.
That is kind of the definition of Magna, correct? The biggest, the best?
Yeah.
Great.
Isn't that the
Dang, so
tagline?
I'm Magna photographer?
Brian might
You
be
are
disappointed.
the Magna photographer. Yeah. Yeah. I am a videographer. Yeah.
Creative.
Creative. Ooh.
Creative guys over here.
But today we're going to talk about something that belabors everyone that is a creative, and that is really just the idea of being a little bit more proactive when it comes to aches, pains, injuries, strains, things like that, instead of being reactive to where we come and see you in a panic and we're like, Gina, please fix us.
Felt.
My arm is falling off, and I have to shoot all weekend this week.
My arm is falling off.
Wow. Someone did that to you?
We joke in physical therapy. Sometimes people let shoulder pain and their rotator cuff get so bad, it's like their arm is basically falling off by the time they finally do something about it. So the idea of being proactive is music to my ears, and I love it when people say that.
What can we say? I mean, we try to impress here on the podcast. I mean, we know, wow.
Don't feed his ego, Gina. Don't feed his ego.
Literally, I don't know how my head's going to get through the door now. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was thinking you both secretly had injuries, and you were just going to ask me how to rehab those on your own.
We're both just sat here so actually, Gina, this is for us.
I was going to say, we should have filmed this directly after Desert City. We would have had so many questions.
No, Gina's actually fixed me up, so I'm good.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, we got one patient in the room with us.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm curious to hear how your guys' bodies felt after Desert City, if you want to share.
Yeah, sure. So really, and this kind of goes back to what we were talking about with Steph on the last episode, was the idea of you're on all the time. So I would say the first thing it was a very big mental fatigue. It felt as though, I don't know if you ever gone to a wedding and drank heavily, probably early 20s, right? I mean, that's kind of what we do.
I wish it was that long ago.
Yeah.
I wish it was that long ago.
But yeah, so it was just that hungover feeling, you just have an extreme hangover. And then I would say the other thing was sickness. So there was a few people that got sick from that.
Dude, I was destroyed after Desert City.
I would say a little bit of just the lower back, but I think I told you this too, was the quads. And that was the first time my quads have really.
That's right.
Can't relate.
Yeah, and I think it was
Giant quads over there.
huge quads.
Never fatigue.
Literally, we don't have him sit on this side so that people aren't intimidated anymore. We have him behind a desk so they can't see.
Crazy.
That's straight up
We
true.
hide the quads.
1,000%.
The quads.
But the quad, and I think it was because a lot of the camera movements that I do, I'm typically in a bending position and kind of moving around that way. So I usually, instead of me having some type of piece of equipment that does that, I use my entire body for it. So I incorporate my entire body with all the movements.
Interesting. So there are pieces of equipment that will kind of do that for you.
Yeah, there's things like gimbals and stuff like that will probably help alleviate a lot of that.
Why wouldn't you want to use one of those?
There's a lot of different things. So one, I like the freedom of movement. So let's say if it's a certain exercise where there's unpredictable movements, or something where I can't change direction really fast, or it's just, I feel as though with handheld, I am more ready for unpredictable movements and unpredictable environments and rapid changes.
Interesting. And that is definitely kind of how I would describe the stresses that your guys' bodies undergo in those types of long competition filming scenarios, is you have to be reactive. You also have to have pretty good endurance, and you also have to have really good stability of all the muscles and joints that are holding and getting you into these positions. So yeah, I mean, you said it perfectly. Being able to be reactive is part of the job, but sometimes that's also why you guys are in pain afterwards, because maybe your body isn't totally able to be as reactive as it needs to be, or the endurance of those muscles maybe isn't where it needs to be to hold the camera. How heavy is the camera that you guys hold usually?
I mean, it really varies. Chris, how would you say, like, Canon?
I mean, again, it depends. Like when I have the big lens on, I mean, it's 10 pounds probably, maybe a little more. And then, I mean, it just depends on what you've got on, right? Like when I have the belt on with both cameras, I mean, maybe 20 something pounds. It's kind of sitting on you all day.
Yeah. And it's not heavy relative to what you're lifting in the gym, right? But
yeah, it's a different, like, I will say, like, one thing I start to notice is it's kind of funny if I use one of the cameras a lot more than the other. Like, let's say I use the camera that's on my right side a lot more than the one on my left, and the left one is sitting on my hip all day. Like, I will literally start to notice, like, there's maybe a little imbalance happening. Like, my low back will start to be like, okay, I'm getting a little fatigued, like, on the left side.
Yeah. I would imagine your guys' low backs kind of take a beating. Especially because with that crouched position you were describing, you're probably very rounded forward.
I mean, if you, it should be like a meme or whatever. Like, my body's just like this. Like I'm just I'm literally like, my back's rounded. Like, every possible thing you probably shouldn't do. Yeah. And to answer your question about the weight, I mean, right now, that middle camera that you can see there, like, that's probably the heaviest thing that I have right now. I don't know. That's probably 7 pounds at least. I would say, and it's an interesting idea or interesting concept, though. What you need to do in order to make sure whenever you're handheld, you actually have to weigh your camera down to avoid, like, shakiness.
Oh.
So we actually welcome this problem of, like, a heavy camera.
Oh.
And it's a good way to kind of balance it. What's that?
Hands shake because of fatigue? Or
no, just in general. Like, if your camera's really light, you have a tendency to, like, it just has more movement with
like
it.
More, it's more jittery.
More jittery.
Right? Yeah, I get that. It's lighter. It moves more. Yeah.
So that's, like, kind of my elements. Chris, what did you come across besides just general sickness?
As far as what?
Like, how you felt after Desert City.
What felt tired?
I mean, my body didn't feel too bad. I think it was pretty obvios to me what camera I was using more throughout the week. At least which one that sits on which side of my body. Because I could tell the left side of my low back was maybe a little more exhausted than the right side. I mean, the last day is typically like the day where you've had the least amount of sleep over the past few days, and your body is really starting to kind of feel like, okay, I probably can't do this for another few more days. Like, it will get bad if I keep doing this for a few more days. So, I mean, I got pretty sick, so that was unfortunate. But other than that, I mean, I think you're just tired. I mean, I like to compare it to competing in a way. Like, it's a different exhausted, but you're exhausted for sure.
I definitely think that you do feel muscle fatigue.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest one.
And it's interesting that, like, so many of the athletes got sick right after it, correct? But, like, even you guys did, which does show what you're doing is very similar. And what I think is interesting is, like, not to go off on too much of a tangent, but one of the reasons that people do get sick after these big competitions is, yes, you know, you're sharing a lot of the same equipment and touching and germs, but our nervous system actually does go through a temporary suppression immediately after, like, heavy, exhaustive workouts. And so what you guys are doing, your body is probably also perceiving as a exhaustive workout. And it's like, oh my gosh, our whole nervous system and, you know, immunity just went down, and that, you know, opens you up to sickness. So is
there stuff you can do to help counterbalance that? Or
yeah, I mean, if you know you're gonna do something like that that's gonna be long and exhaustive and kind of put your whole system under a lot of stress, then immediately after you should be doing all the things that keep you healthy and away from germs. So, like, you know, maybe you're not sitting in an editing room with 10 other people and touching the same
eating the same chocolate bark or whatever it was, the pretzels.
Oh, the peppermint bark pretzels. Bro.
Yeah. Wow, you had that one down.
Yeah. They were that good.
Go-to.
Yeah, but stuff like that.
And getting like 10 hours of sleep the night after you finish, right?
No
but
shot.
You guys are exactly. So your guys' recovery is also quite limited. So you're kind of opening yourself up, unfortunately, to more sick opportunities.
Sure.
But just like the athletes.
I was gonna say, I feel like my interpretation and understanding of recovery is like it's kind of like this linear system, whereas like if you do something hard, you have to then recover before you can do the hard thing again.
Nice.
But I feel like when we're shooting a weekend like that with like literally what 3 to 5 hours of sleep on a good night. It's like you're constantly down, come up a little, down further, come up a little, down even further.
Yourself into this hole.
Yeah, exactly.
Takes even longer to climb out.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, because that's the difference. The athletes are probably going home and sleeping 10 hours. You guys are going home and editing.
I wouldn't necessarily say we're getting that much sleep. And there's really no way around it. There is ways to prevent like end of day type stuff. For us, it would be like, editing throughout the day so that we don't go home and then just start from scratch. But for the most part, a lot of the turnaround times are very quick because, just to be 100% straight with everyone, it's like no one's going to care about that stuff that happened on Thursday. If today's Friday and Friday just got completed, like people want to see what happened yesterday, like that same day or like the day after,
Yeah, and I get it. I mean, just you guys putting the stories up on, for the competition, the Desert City story of like, this was last night's event and here's who won and go here to see it. It was nice to have that like immediate,
Great media team this year. Unbelievable.
Yeah, you guys did great.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, it's such a
great
fast
leadership
industry.
too. Amazing
Lots
leadership.
of cannon shooters.
Amazing leadership.
That's why it's probably the best.
There was cannon shooters. It's fine. Whatever. That's one that I'm not going to win. I'm not going to win that one.
Way more cannon shooters at Desert City this year than...
I'll stay out of that one. I'm sure.
Gina, it's an ongoing battle with us.
We always put somebody in the middle of it. On
Yeah,
every podcast
we've made people feel very uncomfortable in this room about our Sony Canon battle, and it's just like an ongoing thing, and we just kind of embrace it.
Well, I'm a true like third-party objective. Like I don't know anything about either, so I can't be on one side or the other.
The best thing is just don't guess,
I wouldn't try.
or maybe name another brand that doesn't even make cameras.
Like a Sharp.
I'm not talking to anyone directly into the camera right now. Not at all. Okay, so let's dive into then some preventative things to help us out in that long weekend.
Yeah.
What can we do to best prepare as a glossing, wide open question that you are now formulating an answer for? And then we can just drill down because me and Chris love asking more questions.
For sure. And I mean, I'll start by just saying like, not to pump you guys up too much, but you guys are in great shape, right? You guys are in very good shape relative to your average.
Gina.
The strongest photographer, by the way.
I don't know how I'm going to go home today and have a normal ego. This is
All
nuts.
over. We'll end
The
here.
strongest photographer.
Jeez.
But just think how someone who doesn't already deadlift a high amount of weight does if they're trying to lift just 7 pounds or hold 7 pounds in this flexed forward, very suboptimal position for 3 days straight. Like they got to be going home with such pain, right? So at least you guys have at least done the step one, which is just get really strong and resilient to start. Because the stronger you are, well, the harder you are to kill, but also the harder it is to have
Well, hopefully no one's killing us, but yeah, I get you.
just the work over long periods of time will kill you. I know that.
I don't know. That flu was trying to take me out after Desert City, but I got you.
This poor guy, I was literally like, because we needed the turnaround times on some photos and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I can, like, he's like sick. So I like had to like, hey guys, there's gonna be a little delay on this stuff. We had some people on our team come down with some illness.
He's probably still like on his deathbed trying to edit.
Of course he is. But I'm like, Chris, please take care of yourself. Yeah. Like the last thing I need you to do is another 3 hours
You
of
saw
sleep.
me at that real estate shoot. I was,
not great.
I was dead quiet the whole time.
So we had a shoot like right after that. And he was doing me a solid by still like working through it. But I like went up to the client. I was like, hey, like, just so you know, like he's a little bit under the weather. Like he's not, this isn't how he normally is.
I'm not me.
Yeah, he's not me.
You're
not, sorry, we went on a side tangent.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so things you can do to kind of prep your body and at least put yourself in the best position possible to not be just obliterated by a long weekend like that. Like one is just have your absolute, habit of working out. Be strong, be fit, right? That's going to put you in at least a good position to stay healthy if you can. Maybe not get as sick as you would normally, that sort of thing. But two, if we kind of like look at the positions that your body has to be in that whole weekend,
yeah.
From a physical therapist standpoint, I see some very, common movement patterns and positional postural patterns, maybe is a better word, postures that you have to be in for prolonged periods of time, right? You described kind of that like shrimp or that like rounded flexed forward position. So as a physical therapist, I'm thinking, okay, that spine is in a ton of flexion, right? The shoulders are rounded. The head and neck are in protraction, which means your head is literally in front of your body. And so what muscles are on tension or on strain in those positions? And if we know that's the position you're going to be in, how can we either spend a lot of time in the opposite of that so that your body, doesn't have to be in that position as much, or how can we get the muscles really strong that support you in that position? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so like I kind of like this analogy because neck. So I've treated people in your guys' profession, and I would say like head and neck and upper back is like a large one that I find people struggle with, whether it's pain, whether it's like pinched nerve stuff. And I have like a list of what I think are the most common, pains and injuries in your guys' line of work, and you guys can weigh in on if you think that's true. But
sounds good. We love weighing in, as you've noticed.
Yep. But it sounds like you guys are pretty darn healthy, which is good. So hopefully,
Gina, so you got to stop with the compliments. We're literally not going to be able to get out of this door.
Nice.
This is literally crazy.
Gina's too nice.
But I'll say this: so if neck is a big one, right? So if you have to think about it, and this is an analogy I like to use. If you picture your head as a bowling ball, and it's sitting atop this, wire rod, it's attached to this wire rod, which is your spine, your neck. If that bowling ball is sitting perfectly on top of that rod, there's no strain going on. It's stacked, so to speak.
Okay, yeah.
Balanced. The minute you take that bowling ball and start moving it forward, which is what your head has to do when you start protracting or getting closer to your camera so you can see through it, think of how heavy that bowling ball is, which is it's pretty comparable to the weight of our head.
Yeah.
By the way. Think of that bowling ball taking that rod and essentially bowing it or bending it forward, right? So that's what's going on at our neck when we're in that position, is we're kind of bowing or bending those joints in that forward position. And then think about hanging out there for hours at a time. You're basically kind of straining through that rod. And so the good news is you've got muscles, and it's their job to support that position.
Yeah.
Especially muscles on the back of your neck. They're kind of like reins holding onto your head, kind of
right.
supporting it in that position. But you have to think, okay, what's the repercussion if you're doing that and hanging out in that position for long periods of time? The muscles fatigue. When the muscles fatigue, they get angry, right? The spine's kind of bent forward in a position it's not normally in. The joints might start getting stiff in that position. So all that is to say, if we're going to try and prevent that, we might take our spine in the opposite direction. We might work the muscles against that to resist that motion so that when you're doing it for prolonged periods of time, your muscles are ready for it, that sort of thing.
Okay. Yeah, and so with that, like, what can you do then in that scenario? Like, what are those exercises?
Yeah, so if we were to maybe even just look at that movement right there, like the neck and protraction is when your head is forward and your chin's kind of jutting out. You're trying to look through, right, a lens, or you're sitting at the computer, right?
Yes.
And you're trying to see what you're doing,
Yes.
and so everything's forward. So the opposite of that we call neck retraction, and that's where you're kind of pulling your chin in. You're kind of straightening your neck and imagining that there's a string at the top of your head that's kind of pulling you towards the ceiling. So just getting into that is kind of what we call like good posture, right? And we all kind of know what good posture is.
Yeah.
But if you want to strengthen the muscles so that they can pull you into that, or strengthen you when you get into that poor position, you might do a resisted neck retraction, which might look like, you put a band around your head and you kind of pull yourself into that nice, tall, aligned position. That's just like one example.
Yeah.
The nice thing is a lot of the CrossFit movements we do, think of even like a deadlift, a lot of those muscles are active if we're thinking about them. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times I'll see people with a deadlift and they kind of let their neck and their chin hinge, so to speak. But if you can kind of get your neck into that really good position, those muscles on the backside of the neck will also be active as you're primarily working your posterior chain.
So it's like something as easy as bringing a resistant band with you literally just bring your neck back.
A few reps of that in between, the hour that you're on the floor and having.
Okay.
Yeah, so you might take little breaks where then you're working your body in the opposite position.
Right.
And then if we were to move down the body a little bit further, because this is probably easier for people to visualize, if we think of that upper back and the shoulder region, if you're constantly rounded forward in order to hold equipment and be looking down and crouch and follow people, we might, take a break midday and, grab a foam roll, and then we might lay over the top of it or extend over with your arms overhead, your back, and basically take yourself into the complete opposite position, which is spinal extension, to kind of stretch out and get those joints moving in the other direction.
Is there a certain amount of like reps or like a quick, like let's say, because this actually happened at Desert City, so it's kind of a relevant example, where we had about 1 hour where we had a break.
Nice.
So obviously, like, we were editing and stuff, but really we were offloading a lot of footage. So when we're offloading footage or Chris is offloading photos, that type of idea, is there a set like protocol? Hey, take 15 minutes,
Yeah, do these. Yeah. I mean, I love laying over the foam roller and just like letting my entire back kind of fall into extension. I just think that feels good. But I would say that's, as someone who does some work at the computer and tends to have rounded shoulders and a forward flex spine, I know that that's good for my body.
Yeah.
So I would almost attack it from the angle of, what area do you normally struggle with? Is it your neck that tends to be stiff and limited or painful? Is it your shoulders and upper back? Or is it your low back and quads, hips, right? I think whatever area of the body that you struggle with most, that's probably the one that I would prioritize. And like, let's say you're more of an upper body achy pain type, creative athlete, and you're doing an hour on the floor and then you get that hour break. Maybe I'd do some of those banded neck retractions where I'm resisting into that position, and then I'd lay over the foam roller for a minute or two.
Okay.
And just, kind of pick and choose what applies best to your body.
Awesome. Let's continue working down the body.
Yeah. So low back, I would assume same thing, like being in a crouch position for long periods of time. Do you feel fatigue in your low back? It sounds like he does.
Yeah, I would definitely say my low back, especially to your point is it protracted when your neck's forward?
Yep.
When I'm protracted, because I'm usually protracted if I'm filming something that's low, and then I'm retracted, like excessively retracted, because I'm looking at my screen if it's something that's like up high.
Got it.
So I have the monitor on a different screen, but you can see where that monitor's like positioning is, right? It's a little bit higher. It's above the camera. So my eyes, and it's usually tilted forward a little bit, so my eyes then become forward like this, or they become back like this if I'm looking up. I know, I'm literally like the worst use case for but like everything you're describing is stuff that's very helpful that I can utilize, so.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, and then if we really want to get into it, like there's on the floor body positioning, right? Like the position that you're in when you're filming, and then there's the standard ergonomic position that you're in when you're on the computer.
Yeah, that's a whole nother battle.
And even just what you said.
Talk about shrimp.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure no one's like perfectly aligned, right? Upright with a 90-degree angle at the elbows every time they are on the computer, right? But I think even like the standard ergonomics say like you want the top third of your screen to be in line with your eyes, but you actually want your eyes to be glancing down about 20 degrees.
Oh.
So, there's like little things like that.
I'm like, as I'm sitting here right now, I'm like, oh, geez.
I know, I'm like hyper focused.
Let me get, okay, here we go.
Most people straighten up when they hear I'm a PT and they're like, oh, are you looking at my posture?
I feel so judged. No, this is very helpful. So lower back.
Yeah, lower back. So I'm guessing, well, you tell me, is your lower back more of an issue when you're sitting at the computer or when you're on the floor filming, or both?
I would say I don't necessarily feel it when I'm filming. I feel it like when I stop. And it's probably adrenaline and that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
But when I physically either stop for the day or I switch up and get to that computer, that's typically when it comes into play.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a reason having to do with the endurance and kind of like the small stabilizing muscles. So I'll give you a little like PT crash course. We kind of divide the body into two groups of muscles. We have like our large mover muscles, and then we have our small stabilizing muscles. And the mover muscles are the ones that help us like hoist that heavy deadlift off the ground. And the stabilizing muscles are like the little ones that kind of keep the head of your shoulder centered as you bring weight overhead. So they both have super important roles, obviously. I find that most CrossFitters tend to be more dominant in their mover muscles, and we're really good at lifting big loads off the floor, right?
Couldn't imagine anyone who would ever fit that description.
Either.
Like cleating 405, that tends to be
she dropped
mover
it.
muscle.
She name dropped it.
I was gonna say
I was
gonna say anytime we go over stats, dropping Chris's weight stats are always a mind-blowing activity. It's nuts.
It's ingrained in my head because I've seen it a lot on his story.
I've seen it a lot too.
At the
I
strongest.
just watch it at night at 12 in the morning when I'm cuddled up in bed, and I'm like,
Hey, with great posture though.
Hey.
With great posture.
I don't
Yeah,
know about that. I'm probably like fetal position, sad,
got
and
good
then
posture
I
on the
watch
phone.
myself clean 405, and I'm like, all is well.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be retracted.
Yeah, and yeah.
There you go.
Bringing
nice.
it back.
There you go. But yeah, so lifting that heavy weight off the floor, our big mover muscles are responsible for that. But in order to sustain these kind of awkward positions for prolonged periods of time, especially with a lighter weight camera, that kind of falls to the muscles that are stabilizing your spine, the little guys that are responsible for holding you in that position for hours at a time, that sort of thing. So you could be really strong and be able to lift a lot of weight and have no back pain, but you could spend a day filming and be like, man, my back is blown up. Why is that? And that's also the reason that a lot of my strong CrossFitters that I assess, I get them into a single leg position and ask them to just balance for 30 seconds and they fall apart.
Yeah.
Or I ask them to do like a hip airplane, right? Where they're balancing and trying to move without losing their balance and they completely fall apart.
Yeah.
It's that stability versus strength idea. And so a lot of times if your back is really feeling tired, fatigued, after a long day, it has more to do with the stability or the endurance of those small stabilizing muscles than just your overall strength.
So what can we do lower back wise to help us out?
Yeah, so I love anything that involves an unstable force to the body. So think of like you've got a bamboo bar, right? That's very movable. It creates kind of what we call perturbations at the body.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're back squatting, push pressing, overhead squatting, doing anything really with a bamboo bar, there's this need for your body to stabilize against those micro movements. And that is oftentimes the role of those deep stabilizers of the spine. And so you could do stuff like, farmer's carries, farmer's marches, bamboo bar work. Anything with like a bottoms up kettlebell is really unstable and shaky and you have to kind of resist against it. Kind of like the PT traditional movement for the low back. The go-to for a lot of PTs is like the bird dog. Have you seen that, right?
I mean, thanks to your amazing Instagram, I've seen all of these movements, and I'm sure we'll be able to pull some of that stuff in here because I see literally, whether it's you or Chris, your co-owner husband.
Yep.
Amazing dad.
Shout out Chris.
Shout out to Chris. Spent a lot of time last Saturday together. Phenomenal guy.
Love him.
I said that like Trump. Phenomenal. That was weird. Oh no, this
Saw a movie with him last night. Good dude.
didn't get that.
We
in
might
here.
have held hands
Oh, okay.
when I got
I heard it
scared.
was scary, so
But I typically see you guys, working with clients throughout the gym, utilizing all of that equipment you just outlined.
Yep.
And I mean, based off of the amount of people that come through and typically how they feel afterwards. I mean, Aaron's one of your clients too. He wouldn't mind us bringing that up. Like
I didn't say it, so no.
you've done like a incredible job with him. Like he sings your praises too. So
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's so much fun working with CrossFitters because y'all are very motivated and you want to get better.
Gino, too much ego again. We're literally not going to be able to leave.
I'm speaking generally.
Okay,
I don't
fair
know how
enough.
motivated
Well,
you guys are to get.
I know where I stand now.
But no, I'll say Aaron is a great patient because he does his homework. He
Yeah.
does the things that I tell him are going to make him better, and
Yeah.
so he sees the results.
Right,
Hopefully.
right.
But to answer your question, anything that like makes you shake and feels like, oh, this is hard for my body to control. Usually, that's a good movement that's taxing those little stabilizing muscles.
Mm-hmm.
And then endurance. I mean, you guys know as well as I do. Like, there's so many endurance exercises you can do. Like a GHD back extension hold, right? You're just holding your spine is having to hold you off that GHD for a prolonged period of time. Great example of a low back endurance exercise. And if you're doing it right and keeping your back in a really good kind of aligned position and not just over relying on those erector spinae, which pull your back into this extreme arch position, then you're also using some of those deeper stabilizers. And so you're getting kind of more bang for your buck. So that'd be like a good one.
So to continue on our theme with like, lunchtime, you got that hour.
Mm-hmm.
What's some practical either equipment or something? Because everything you outlined there, like there are some solutions, but typically people aren't going to have like a bamboo bar traveling with them. And if they do, mad respect. But like something like that where it would be like, bring this or utilize this.
Yeah, in that case, I'd probably rely on more body weight. I mean, bands are always good for some of those like small resistive movements, like we talked about the neck and kind of resisting the retraction. Your back is a little bit stronger, but I find that if you put your body into positions We'll take the bird dog, for example, since everyone kind of knows what that looks like,
Yes.
right? You're on all fours, one arm, one leg out. If that's a hard movement for you to control and just keeping your pelvis aligned, that's already challenging. Great. That's an exercise for you. But you can progress that movement by, elevating that foot of the knee that's down. And now you have two very small points of contact with the ground. It makes it very challenging. Everyone go home and try this because it doesn't sound hard, but it's very hard. So if you're only balancing yourself on one hand and one knee, and you're trying to keep your spine flat, you're trying to keep one arm, one leg extended outward, that's really hard for your deep, small core and back stabilizing muscles to hold you in that position. So that's like a great way to kind of tap into those small stabilizing muscles. During competition, though, you're not necessarily going to be making like strength gains in those muscles, right? In like the hour that you have. So in those small periods of time that you have, I'd probably be focusing more on mobility and range of motion and getting out of the position that you've been in for the previous hour, because you're going to have more, you're going to feel better with that. So like if you've been in that kind of forward flex position, and now we're talking about your low back, if you get on your belly and do like in yoga, it's called a cobra or a press up, where you're essentially arching your back, or CrossFitters kind of know like a Superman, right? That's a big extension movement. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everyone loves a Superman. That's just getting your spine out of that forward flex position that you've been in for 2 hours. And so I bet you would feel great if you did that.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I mean, this is all stuff we can implement like immediately. So
that's right, yeah. And all you need so far is a band for the neck, a foam roll for the upper back, just your body weight for the low back, and some floor space.
Discipline.
Yep. You can't be worried about looking weird in front of your friends.
I got no problem with that. Trust me. Let's progress down. So like we have now like our lower body. Mm-hmm. However you want to break it up here, you are the expert. We are simply your students.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people probably experience some hip tightness, stiffness, but it sounds like, I mean, you said quads, and I'm guessing your knees, do you guys kneel quite a bit? Are you having to get down?
Yeah, so for the swimming event, that's probably where I kneeled the most, just because to get down to the base level of the water when people are swimming.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a lot of times where I'll go for a low angle shot and I will put my knee on the ground. Mm-hmm. And it's usually one knee up and then kind of
moving.
What's that
there.
like? I don't know what that's called. Half kneel? Yeah.
One leg up, one leg. Yeah. Okay, so half kneeling. So one knee is taking, the brunt of it. And I mean, could you be in that position for a while, depending on?
Until I get my shot. So that could be anywhere from I would say definitely under a minute. I would say probably like 15 to 20 seconds.
Okay. And I mean, again, like in CrossFit, we're doing lunges all the time where our back knee is actually coming into contact with the floor. So what we're doing with that is kind of building some resilience to that contact. But consider somebody who never puts their knee on the floor and all of a sudden they're kneeling for 15 to 20 seconds on that kneecap, right? It's a little sensitive. They don't go through that stress very often. They might walk away being like, oh my gosh, my knees are so sore.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure there's probably knee pads and stuff you can buy, but if you've kind of done the work previously to build up the resilience, you don't have a problem.
I'm pretty sure like I'm missing hair on this knee. You're probably not gonna be able to see this on the camera, but can you see that?
I see that.
This is from being outside on the pool deck and me. Well, I didn't realize it. Again, it's the adrenaline fact. I don't realize it. And then I come back. I
singed your hairs off.
I literally saw that in the shower. I was like, wow, huh?
I've heard stories of people doing Murph when it's like really hot. I mean, we have pretty hot weather and just
dry heat though. Dry heat.
It's a
dry heat.
But the knee, getting on the knees for the push-ups, like it can do some damage for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, hopefully your knees are not getting that banged up from what you're doing. But I would say like hips and quad, like that whole area is kind of an area that most people are tight in anyways. And I think any sort of like hip mobility, hip stretches could be great, just because that does tend to, again, put your body in a way different position than what you're sitting in or standing in all morning when you're filming. And gosh, there's 100 different hip stretches that you could do. So, hey, that's why you go get assessed by a physical therapist and you find out what muscles you're most tight in. That way you're not just doing a bunch of random hip stretches, you're doing the ones that your body needs.
Makes sense.
You know what I love? When I'm scrolling Instagram and it's like, this is going to fix your back pain. And I'm like, whoa, that one exercise you're about to show everybody? I want to know your thoughts on that, Gina. How do you feel about those?
Oh my gosh, those get me going. Yeah.
Oh no.
It's frustrating.
I'm sure.
I mean, I'm sure you guys, I'm trying to think what the equivalent would be in your line of work if someone said that this one piece of equipment is going to make you the most amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Want to create this shot? All you need is this.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you need
Not
that,
really.
but you need like a lot of seasoning. You need to like learn how to actually utilize that piece of equipment
Yes.
properly.
Those posts that say this one exercise is going to absolutely cure your chronic back pain that you've been dealing with for years, right? It's so unbelievable, and I hate that people fall for it because what actually needs to happen is a lot more work, a lot more discipline, and usually the help of someone who knows how to navigate those waters like a professional physical therapist. But yeah, if there's anything that gets me fired up, it's those things.
We should make one.
I was like, oh man, if we just want to trigger Gina real quick, like.
He's gonna use like the neck retraction with the band and say that he's gonna fix all your neck pain.
we're gonna start stealing all of Gina's content.
For capture the reps, we'll make like a clip of Gina saying that, and then we'll be like, "This is all you need to do if you ever want to get really good shots and avoid pain."
There you go. That's what people do nowadays. My goodness.
You're like holding the camera, and there's a band behind your neck, and you're just like,
Hey, exercise on the go while you're shooting.
That's it.
Work smarter.
What about like quads, hamstrings?
Yeah, if those are fatiguing while you're shooting, it's probably because you're almost doing like 1,000 mini squats, right?
Yeah, like quarter squats. That's actually a really good
Quarter
point.
squats.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of doing repeated mini squats, and I mean that's hard. That's hard for your muscles to do. I mean, think of our, Murph
Doesn't like
workout.
Pilates do that? Like Pilates does the
Bar Pilates.
Yeah, they do like quarter squats and stuff. Like, yeah.
Pulsing. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
you know
that's
what's
hard.
You know an interesting one that I noticed that happened at Wodapalooza. So Wodapalooza SoCal is very much sandy. Like you're walking around on the sand a lot. You know what got ridiculously fatigued for me? Hamstrings.
Really?
Oh my God. I would like finish it like I can't get out of my corner and start breaking it down.
You're definitely not allowed to get out of your corner.
But
yeah.
like I would go like
Couldn't even get
just bent over like halfway I normally would. I was
Yeah.
like my hamstring felt like it's gonna pop out of my leg.
That's interesting.
Insane.
Yeah. So sand, it definitely creates like this kind of unstable, right, asymmetrical surface, and
Yeah.
our feet and our body are not used to walking on that regularly, and your hamstrings are a big stabilizer of the knee from behind, and so they were trying to stabilize your knee probably as your foot is going in and out of pronation, supination, and that just ended up being where your body needed it
I
the
was like,
most, I
holy
guess.
smokes, my hamstrings were smoked.
But what's interesting is another person could have had that same experience and maybe like their calves were lit up or their peroneal muscles on the side of their ankle and foot.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's got different areas of the body that, maybe are not as trained for that specific activity as we would like. And that's where they feel it, right?
For sure. That's cool.
Your hammies are weak, I guess. I'm just kidding.
Wow. Okay, we're definitely going to move on quickly.
No, they are.
So what
Deadlift
are-
is like
oh,
by
no,
far
no.
my worst lift.
So what are those exercises then you can do to help alleviate Chris's very strong and
Very weak.
great hamstrings that allow him to lift ridiculously big weight?
The weakest photographer now.
Yeah,
Cited by Gina.
that escalated.
You know what? In fairness, Gina did bring us back to a neutral.
There you go.
So
Can't
maybe
build you
she's
up all
actually
the
looking
time.
out for us because she was like pumping our tires and like we were going up way high and now we're like back to normal.
That's my job. I got to pick out the weaknesses, show you where you need the work.
You could just stop with him. You don't have to go to me. I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
good.
When
I'm
we were
good.
That's why
talking,
you won't come see me.
when we were talking earlier about, she's like, yeah, CrossFitters are really good at using their strong muscles, and then she turns and looks at me, really bad at using their little stabilizer, and I was
That's
like,
tough.
okay,
That's tough.
felt,
Yeah.
heard, Gina, heard.
I didn't say anything. But I will say, so in the moment, and kind of a lot like when we treat athletes who are competing and like, let's say they go into a competition with like a little bit of a shoulder thing, right? There's no fixing it that close to game day or on the fly, but you can mitigate symptoms. So like the fix for, a rotator cuff tendonitis, which is what a lot of athletes deal with because of the high volume overhead and shoulder stuff, especially leading into a competition when they're practicing muscle ups back to back to back days. The fix for that might look like a graded progression of rotator cuff strengthening and mobility work, yada, yada. But in the moment, we're like, let's just try to get your pain down so that you can go into this next event and do a bunch of muscle ups. And so maybe that's when we use our soft tissue work as PTs, our cupping, our scraping, our dry needling, right? Hands-on manual work, because that stuff can bring symptoms down. It's not fixing the problem necessarily, but it's at least putting out the fire so that they can get through the next event. And so with the quads and hamstrings, and it's like you might not fix the fact that the hamstrings need a little more stability around the knee practice, but you can do some soft tissue work. If you've got a PT on site, they can roll you out, scrape you, cup you, do some dry needling. If you're alone, maybe you can use a foam roller, stretch. A lot of people scrape themselves nowadays, cup themselves, right? Cupping kits are kind of easy to come by. So a lot of that like soft tissue stretching mobility work can be nice for just calming symptoms down, even if it's not going to necessarily make it better for the next time this happens.
Yeah. So this is where that foam roller that you have for the other, what was
upper
it, the back, the
thoracic
upper back.
spine. Yep.
This is where it come into play.
There you go.
That
Now
makes
I have
sense.
2 for 1 with that
Yeah.
piece of equipment.
And would you say that's the same pretty much for the calves as well?
You can roll the calves, absolutely. Yeah, you can stretch, you can scrape, or, if you're willing to bring cupping with you, right? That's a whole other piece of equipment. But yeah, you can foam roll and just try to get some of that tension or that feeling of tightness and achiness down so that at least you can go into the next event and not be thinking about it, right? Because that's the biggest thing. You need to be able to do your job without worrying about pain or tightness.
Yeah. So like we went through the whole body. And all of that was great insight. I really appreciate that. I know Chris's hamstrings really appreciate it. My lower back and my neck sometimes, and my upper back. Sounds like I have more problems.
Yeah, he's older.
But we'll definitely implement all these. And I think even like going forward, and you can hold me accountable because this is going to be on film. Like we're going to have foam roller like in the room at Desert City next year.
Nice.
Making sure that people have the ability to foam roll.
Just like we were going to do some workouts this year.
And
yeah.
but here's the thing. I didn't say that on camera. I just said that to you separately in a text message.
I've got receipts, bro.
That's completely different.
I've got receipts.
Listen, I'm putting this out here so that I'm going to have an accountability buddy, meaning anybody watching this can literally DM me and be like, yo, what?
It's all about that discipline, though. So you're right.
It really is.
Having it, holding accountable, someone holding you accountable, and having a plan of action, I think is big.
Yeah, I like
right?
how we're waiting till next November to do this.
Well, it takes some
With the foam
time.
So maybe we do some endurance and stability training in this next year, and then you have your equipment ready for the calming symptoms down.
And then if people have more questions or want to work with you, like what's best way to contact you or reach out to you and Chris and get fixed?
We work with, CrossFitters and people that work out and have a lot of these types of injuries, right, from moving and being too active sometimes. And so the easiest way to reach us is either through our website, just raisethebarrehab.com, or Raise the Bar Rehab, our Instagram page. Either of those we're decently active on, and we'll get back to you quickly. I find that the CrossFit community here is like so small that everybody has my number nowadays. So I get texts from people, random gyms, and I'm totally fine with that. However, you need to, get in, just get in, because if you can get evaluated by a PT, that can set you up for such success when you have these long events in the future.
No doubt. And you're at a CrossFit Magna and Octane? Right?
Octane is the other gym, as of semi-recently. And so we've got a space in each of those, and both are excellent communities. I love them. But
you like Magna more. Yeah, you can just say it. It's fine. Just kidding, guys. Seriously.
He's not kidding.
CrossFitters across the valley, don't be afraid to come into either gym, though, because I know there's some intimidation factor. It's like walking into another gym sometimes. There's rivalries, right? But there's
no
not
rivalries.
That's actually what I loved about the competition last weekend is like, I've treated people from across the valley at different gyms, and it was so cool to see everybody at the same event, right?
Yeah.
Like the CrossFit community is really niche and just amazing. So it was fun to see.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys felt that way.
Now let's keep the community rolling. And really appreciate you coming in on a Saturday, taking time away from Blakely, who is phenomenal.
Chris and her are having a good time, I'm sure.
I know. I'm surprised you're probably gonna have so many photos on your phone because I'm sure that's
so many.
She's very calm and like ready for the camera. Like she's gonna be a star someday.
I hope one day she can. It's funny, my phone is either my clients like trying to look at their movement, right? So watching them do exercises, or it's Blakely.
Yep.
So it's just one or the other.
Yep. Awesome.
Oh,
Well, I appreciate it, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Bye.
You need a sign off.
I was waiting for Gina to like say something as I was
Sorry.
deeply staring into.
Thanks for having me.
Well, that's a wrap on this episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Capture the Reps podcast. If you're a fitness creative and you found this episode helpful, please share this with a fellow creative and keep creating, keep learning, and keep capturing those reps. We'll see you next time.